Hey guys, it's Sasha. Stake is a relatively new investing app. The platform started out in Australia and has since expanded to New Zealand, the UK and Brazil so far. Stake is quite unique and different to other investing apps, and in this video I'm going to do a full review and tell you what I think about it. I'll tell you everything you need to know about the app, all the things that I personally like about it, and by the way, spoiler alert, I like a lot about Stake, and the things I don't like about it too. It has some really big advantages over the competition, but also some big downsides. So watch all the way through so that you can go and decide if you want to try it out. By the way, if you do want to try Stake out, feel free to use my link in the description below and you'll get a free share of GoPro, Dropbox or Nike when you create your account and make a deposit within 24 hours. And that's at least $11.60 as I'm recording this video if you get a GoPro share, and up to $154 you get Nike. That's not bad at all. Anyway, the app has one major focus, which is also its biggest limitation. It only allows you to invest in US stocks. So if you're like me and the vast majority of your investments are in US stocks, this app is awesome. But you can't buy stocks from other countries, you can't buy ETFs, so this app is definitely not for everyone. Stake have a web and an app version. Both are great, and this is a big plus for me. I always get frustrated when platforms are app only or web only and don't have the alternatives. I really want to be able to manage my financial accounts on a big screen, but also have access on my phone when I want to. The one thing I really like about the platform that really sets it aside for me is that it is designed as an investing app rather than a trading app. The layout is really nice and calm. There are no flashing red and green boxes or a sense of urgency, which I personally like. It is far more relaxed because Stake is designed for buying US shares. For those of us who live outside the US, the account is actually denominated in US dollars rather than pounds or whatever your local currency is. And that is where the only fee they charge comes in. When you deposit money into Stake or withdraw it back out of Stake, you have to pay a 0.5% fee. Just be careful because that fee has a $2 minimum. So that means if you deposit anything below $400, you will have to pay that $2 fee regardless of how much you've deposited. So avoid making frequent small deposits if you want to go and avoid paying that fee, because if you say deposit just $50, you'll be paying an effective 4% fee for the privilege, which is very expensive. If you want to avoid paying that fee by making a deposit from a USD account, you can do that, but you will have to pay a $5 fee in order to do that to Stake. So if you're trying to bypass the 0.5% fee by using Revolut or Wise or some other account where, you know, the transferring of money from pounds over to dollars is cheaper, then you can do that. But remember that if you choose to transfer anything under $1,000, that 0.5% fee is actually cheaper than the $5 you'll have to pay. And even above $1,000, remember that you still have to account for whatever the cost of doing the transfer with the other account on top of the $5. So make sure you bear that in mind. Anyway, this fee, this 0.5% foreign exchange fee that they have, sounds expensive. If you deposit money, invest it, and then withdraw it, you're going to have to pay two lots of that 0.5% fee, and that sounds like it's more expensive than other platforms, but this is a really critical point. The great thing for me is that Stake don't do transaction-based fees. So investing in stocks, once the money's already in the platform, is completely free, and that's where it's quite unique. This is where the big advantage is. Trading212, which is a really popular platform and I use a lot myself, charge a much lower 0.15% foreign exchange fee, but it's charged on every single trade. Buy a company, then later sell that company, and you've paid 0.3%. Then go and do the same again with the same money, and you've paid 0.6%, etc. You see what I'm coming from. That fee is very low, but it can add up over time for Trading212, which it can't do for Stake. Even if you're a long-term investor and hold a company for a few years, when eventually you exit that position, it won't cost you more to go and reinvest that money. So for a long-term investor like me, even if I'm planning to hold onto a company for a period of say 2 to 3 years, maybe even longer, it really depends, I still like to have the certainty and the benefit that in the long run, this is still going to be cheaper for me. And Freetrade, DeGiro, IG, and most other alternative platforms all charge transaction-based fees as well. The only other platform that doesn't is eToro, and I use both platforms, and eToro have a very similar charging structure, but I found that the number of US companies available on Stake seems to be greater. This is somewhat anecdotal, but Stake has over 4,500 stocks on the platform, which is a lot, and I've certainly found ones on eToro that weren't available that were available on Stake, and that's why I have a personal preference here. But you'll notice that they say stocks in ETFs rather than just stocks when they're talking about that 4,500 number. And if you do a quick search, you might get excited because you'll see that you can go and invest in ARK Invest, etc. But these ETFs are only available to professional investors due to regulatory reasons. And you can only self-classify as a professional investor if you either have over 500,000 euros invested or if you've worked in investing or trading professionally. So most people probably won't qualify. When it comes to making investments, Stake offer fractional shares, just like a lot of other people do, which work really, really well. And you don't have the issue of having a few random pennies left over when you make a trade as you do with free trade because they have enough decimal points. Not that it's very easy to see the exact number of decimal points that you hold on the fractional shares, because on the dashboard screen, all the numbers are rounded down to just 2 decimal places. So as you can see, I have 2.43 shares of Tesla. Now, if I click on Tesla over here, you'll see that instead I actually hold 2.4300 shares of Tesla. But even that is not the full number, that's still rounded to 4 decimal places. If I click on the sell button, you get this little bit of text underneath that's telling me exactly how much I own, all the way down to 8 decimal places, and that's the most accurate number that I found in the app. Now, while we're here, let's quickly talk about the buying and selling of shares in Stake, and here, Stake is different to every other platform that I'm using. The default setting for buying and selling shares is a limit order. That's the type of order where you set a price at which you want to buy or sell the shares, rather than just buying and selling at whatever the current exact market rate is when they're trying to complete the transaction. And every other investing app that I have used, that I'm currently using, uses a market order as the default. So this is interesting, and I actually quite like it. This, I think, will actually improve the way people think about investments and probably make people think just for a moment before pressing that buy button on what the price they should be buying at is. Now, stop orders are also available, so everything is here that you would normally expect from a regular investor account, and I've tried all the different orders and they all work well as expected. One thing to note is that the minimum size of a trade on Stake is $10, so you can't buy super low amounts of stock individually. However, there is a way around it. If you have a low amount hanging over below the $10 threshold and you don't have more money coming into the account, you can sell a bit of an investment that you already have to add up to over $10 overall, and then go and invest that back in. Because there is no transaction fees, that actually won't cost you anything other than potentially losing out on a little bit of gains with the money that you pull back out. If you do sell shares, however, there is one thing you need to know. Stake doesn't let you reinvest money before the transaction is fully settled. If you're used to using something like Trading 212 or Free Trade or some of the other new apps, some of them will let you sell shares and then immediately use that money to buy something else. Those companies are essentially lending you money for 2 days while the shares are actually being settled in the background. But with Stake, you do have to wait those 2 business days at the moment for the transaction to actually settle, and only then can you go and reinvest the money. So if you want to be very active with managing your investments, that is a little bit of a downside. Now, Stake do have a paid version of the account called Stake Black, which allows you to trade funds before they settle, which is a big plus. You also get a lot more information about companies, including financial data and buy-sell ratings and price targets from professional investors. I don't really value those latter bits of information from professionals so much, but the ability to reinvest money quickly and the extra information are very useful. The downside is that Stake Black costs $9 per month, or $90 if you pay for the whole year in one go. So if your portfolio is relatively small, that is actually quite a large fee to pay just to be able to make trades more quickly. Stake do seem to be very good at some of the technical elements, however, of managing the platform, and I was quite impressed with that for a relatively new platform. Compared to, say, Free Trade, they certainly have a lot more data and a lot more information flowing through, and compared to even some of the existing ones, for example eToro, your W8BEN form is properly filled in by Stake and submitted properly, which means that if you live in the UK, you only pay 15% withholding tax and dividends instead of the regular 30% rate because of the special tax treaty between the countries. At the moment, for example, on eToro, it looks like you do the same thing, but they don't actually properly submit it. And that means that you have to pay the full 30% on your dividends instead of the 0.15%. And because both of them charge you the same 0.5% foreign exchange fee, this just tips my preference to Stake slightly on the pricing front. Creating an account with Stake was a breeze for me. It was very quick, a really good process. They might request some additional information for some people depending on how you are verified automatically, but I really liked it. I had absolutely nothing negative to say about it. I have a separate video where I go and show that exact process, exactly how it happens. I'm going to link it up here and in the description below if you want to go and check it out. But in short, all you have to do is use my link in the description below, create your account, deposit at least £50 within 24 hours, and you'll get that free share. Deposits are not immediate. This is something again where it's a little bit different to some of the other apps. They take 1 day to actually turn up, unless you're going to pay an extra 0.5% fee, which makes the money arrive by the start of trading, but that's pretty expensive for me. So I haven't personally paid that fee when I made my 2 deposits so far. Unfortunately, Stake don't offer ISA accounts at the moment. So that is a downside if you want to invest through stocks and shares ISA, but according to their website, those ISAs might actually be coming very soon in the next few months. The Stake website and app are really nice to use. That's just my personal opinion. I really like it. You get a decent amount of information and graphs, and although it is not as detailed as some like Trading 212, it's still really informative. The candlesticks go down to 5-minute intervals on the daily chart, and you get up to 3 years of price history. That should be more than enough for a quick check or a quick look for most people. If I scroll down, you can see the analyst ratings here and the full company financials. These are only available if you have the Stake Black account, which I do because I have my affiliate link with them. The dashboard screen looks great, very calm, and you can see the little portfolio on there that I have that is doing really well. I have a whole video series where I do 1 video a month where I'm trying to beat the market with this Stake portfolio. And so far, while the market is up a bit under 2% since I started, my portfolio is up over 18%. Well, it's actually more than that. If I weighted properly, make sure you subscribe to the channel to see how that experiment goes. I hope you guys found this useful. I hope this review helps you understand a bit more about Stake. I really like Stake, and it's becoming one of my favorite investing apps, if not the favorite. The layout is really nice, and I really like some of the little touches, like the ticker that tells you when the market opens and closes. Don't forget to use the link in the description to get your free share and leave a like on the video in exchange. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.